Mr. Speaker, let's just talk about President Trump was tweeting about the stock market, promising more great things to come. But there is so little focus on the left by the Democrats on what is really going on in this country on the ground in terms of this incredible economic growth that we've seen. In the last quarter, fastest pace in nearly 4 years. Estimates that are north of 4%, at least for the quarter that we're in. Wages, fastest growth in a decade. Optimism among consumers, highest it's been in 18 years. New record highs on the stock market. This is a huge opportunity for Republicans as we head into the midterms to highlight this over and over and over and over again.
Well, look, I think there's a huge opportunity here because as the Democrats respond to Trump by going further and further to the left and getting crazier and crazier, they're creating this huge gap. I mean, look at the Florida outcome as an example. Look what Gavin Newsom is promising in California as the Democratic nominee who wants to apply universal health care to people who are here illegally, which could make California the recipient of medical refugees from the entire planet. You know, the message could be, if you get sick, go to California. They want to take care of you. These kind of ideas are permeating the Democratic Party right now, and the liberal media is not doing the Democrats any favor by allowing them to get further and further and further out of touch with reality. And as you point out, the reality is, I believe the numbers that came out this morning, we've had a bigger increase in median income in the last year than in the 8 years of Obama combined. That's a remarkable achievement by Trump, and I think it will make him stronger and stronger.
It's almost comical, though, that some of the Democrats are now worried about the debt and the deficits. These are Democrats who didn't vote for the tax cuts. They don't believe in allowing individuals to keep more of their money, allowing corporations to make decisions that are in their best interest of the company, interest of the employees. But now that one of the talking points I've actually heard more than once from people who come on our air is that they're now worried about inflation, that inflation is eating up more than the wage gains that we have in this country. And it is high comedy, Newt.
Look, I think the Democrats have a huge problem. They've never gotten over Hillary Clinton losing. It was a psychotic moment for them to have it happen so suddenly. And the result is they wake up every morning knowing Trump did something wrong. I wonder what it is. And that's how they spend all day, every day. And so they can't unlock, they can't come to grips with what is a rapidly changing world. You look at Florida, Democratic nominee for governor of Florida is promising the highest business tax rate in the South. Now, what's that going to do? It's going to drive jobs out of Florida. Gavin Newsom is campaigning in favor of a higher gasoline tax in California. Every time you turn around, the Democrat shows up, ask them, how much are they going to raise taxes to pay for their government-run health care proposal? Our estimate for California alone is that maybe $40 billion a year in higher taxes. That's the kind of stuff where they're simply spinning out of touch with reality, and I think that will bite them very badly this fall.
This garbage, I never took math in school, Medicare for all proposal that you hear from some people on the left, we would have to more than double the amount of money that the federal government takes in from corporate and individual taxes in this country, and it still wouldn't pay for it over a 10-year period. That's how the math doesn't add up. At the same time, you can't touch or even try to fix Medicare or Social Security. No. Again, it's not living in a world of reality. A reality where people have bigger paychecks. 90% of people have larger paychecks this year. And it's not Nancy Pelosi making decisions with your money. It's you sitting at home, whether you live in Iowa, Missouri, or Oregon.
Well, look, I think it's pretty simple. Medicare for all is Medicare for none because the whole system would collapse. The fact is most Americans don't want government bureaucrats running their health system. I think all of these big ideas collapse when you start looking at them in the real world. And that's why I think if the Republicans are prepared to run an aggressive campaign of a big choice, they may have a surprising outcome this fall, just as we did in 2016. Remember, up until election night 2016, all of the experts thought Hillary would win. I think the same thing, we may be about to face the same reality this year and suddenly have a huge Republican gain in the Senate and potentially, I think, actually have the Republicans increase House seats rather than lose them. If that happens, the level of shock on the left will be unbelievable.
Newt, really quickly, with the president taking on Google, worried about conservative speech being suppressed by these social media companies, do you think that he will regulate, or is it just talk?
Well, I think at a minimum, we need hearings that bring in, Twitter, Google, Facebook. I mean, these large institutions are really quasi-public, and you cannot have them dominating the information space only on behalf of left-wingers. I was, frankly, very surprised by how biased they have been. And I think you've got to look at, I don't know what the solution is yet, but you at least got to get it out in the open. And at a minimum, places like Google and Facebook ought to have advisory groups that are genuinely both liberal and conservative with real power to supervise and to police it and make sure that every citizen has a real fair opportunity to communicate.
Amen, sir. Amen. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Great to see you as always.